Kathleen Kennedy has decided to speak about the Star Wars fan base and specifically talk about women in the Star Wars fan base. And well, I can only assume that this is going to be one of the most toxic receptions to anything she's ever said. Just so we're clear, I'm not going to use any sarcasm. I'm not going to joke about anything. I'm going to talk about what she said at a very calm, level voice and not insult anybody, and talk about my feelings on what she said, what she's saying, and the reception she's going to get, and what I'm already seeing. So let's get to Kathleen Kennedy's latest comment. Now, of course, if somehow you don't know who Kathleen Kennedy is, she is the head of Lucasfilm. She's the president and she oversees everything Star Wars. So she was speaking with the New York Times and talked about her history in Hollywood as one of the greatest producers of all time. And that's not hyperbole. Look at what she's been involved with. And she talked a little bit more about the development of the modern Star Wars, how she's been attached with Star Wars from, just look at, her body of work. That's all I'm going to say. If you're going to insult her, go look it up and then draw your own conclusion. But regardless, she decided to focus on what's happened with the sequels, what's going on with Daisy Ridley's upcoming entry in the Star Wars franchise, and this is what she said, and I quote, "My belief is that storytelling does need to be representative of all people. That's an easy decision for me. And it's terrifying to work in a franchise like Star Wars. Operating with these giant franchises now, with social media, and the level of expectation, it's terrifying. I think Leslie has struggled a bit with it. I think a lot of women who step into Star Wars struggle with this a bit more, because of the fan base being so male dominated. They sometimes get attacked in a way that can be quite personal." End quote. Now this already brings my blood to a boil. And not because of what she's saying, but because this is factual. So I'm already gonna get attacked in the comments for just being level-headed and what I'm about to say next. But one, she is right, and two, you will only prove her right if you have a knee-jerk reaction to what she said. So let me rewind this again and talk a little bit about this. Going to Star Wars Celebration in 2018 was one of those experiences for me that was truly something I will never forget. Meeting so many CBC fans, becoming good friends with a handful of them, that now when I go to places where they're from, we meet up and we hang out. It was truly a changing experience in my life. And all the people I met there were so kind and respectful because it was the most hardcore Star Wars fans, and everybody was just happy to enjoy Star Wars. But once you leave there, you enter a bubble where online it's just discourse, and it's awful, and people are awful to one another, and especially the women that are fans, that are in this, that take part in it, that act or direct or produce, they're attacked way more than anybody. And it's for various things, and you guys probably know this. Whether it's woke Star Wars, the Force is female, which wasn't even a thing about Star Wars, it was a sponsored campaign for clothing, or whatever else. And I know people are in the comments here and elsewhere, they're going to talk about how they're forcing women on us, and they're forcing diversity, and they're forcing wokeness and political messaging on us. But Star Wars has always been political. It's called Star Wars. Women have always been a part of it, just not to the extent, right? And as she's saying, to her, it's important to represent all people because we are watching a galaxy that is filled with different species. So why is it an alien who's dressed skimpily with blue tentacles or tendrils coming out of her head considered okay as long as she's having all that skin and she's enslaved? But the moment you get an Asian woman or a woman who's strong with the Force, a large chunk of the online fan base has a meltdown and loses it. What she's talking about is right. Look at how people treated the actress who played Rose Tico in Star Wars The Last Jedi. Kelly Marie Tran did not deserve any of the hatred she got. But the racism and the sexism was absolutely appalling and embarrassing. And if you contributed to that, you are part of the problem. And this is why women in the fan base are so reluctant to even talk to guys or admit that they're part of the fan base, because you turn them away with the toxicity. And that's so unfortunate. And if you really think about where we're at as Star Wars fans, it's just gotten worse and worse. And all you have to do is just go look at anything to do with the Acolyte anytime Disney posts it. I truly hate being part of this fan base where you tell people you're a Star Wars fan now, and automatically, if they're tuned in to anything in the internet, their first knee-jerk reaction is, yeah, me too. And I hate the sequels, right? And it's like, oh. And we're just right back to how it was when the prequels came out, which I lived through. And as somebody who grew up on the prequels, all I got was constant hate. And now it's just back, but worse than ever before, because now everybody has an outlet online. Everybody can start a YouTube channel or a TikTok or an Instagram. And they are caricatures of themselves, where they elevate whatever they're saying to another level. And you guys know how this is. There are videos where I play a heightened version of myself, a caricature of me. And I think that some people have adapted into being their actual persona. It's like their wrestling gimmick. They're like Hulk Hogan. They can't separate their personality and who they are from online anymore. And it's taken over their life, and now all they know is the insult and rage clicks, because Star Wars bad gets you clicks, and women and woke gets you noticed. All you have to do is just hate on both. And it's really, really embarrassing. But I'm pretty sure these comments will let me know how wrong I am, how woke I am, or whatever else. And granted, there'll be a couple people that are like, of course, this guy is wrong. Rey is his favorite Star Wars character. Trust me, I've heard it before, and you're just going to prove my point.